الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the program of Islamic rules and regulation. I mean Islamic ahkam. And today we are talking about the things which makes fasting void. Specifically, we are talking about the topic those for whom fasting is not obligatory. There are several people for whom fasting is not obligatory. In previous session, we talked about the person who is old, somehow that he or she cannot, do fasting, cannot tolerate, fasting. And also we said about a person who is patient and or he has a problem in his own body, in her own body, that cannot tolerate, thirstiness. They become somehow thirsty that fasting is almost, they cannot do fasting anyhow. So we see that fasting is not obligatory for such a person. And now, today we are talking about the pregnant, woman who, this is during the Ramadan, and fasting is harmful for her baby or maybe for herself. Because somebody who is pregnant, she has to, eat and drink not only enough food, but also she has to do specific foods because she is carrying a baby, and nutrition is very necessary for such a person. Now, the pregnant, woman who is, who wants to do fasting, if fasting is harmful for herself or maybe for her own baby, fasting is not obligatory for such a person. But this woman should compensate this day or these days of fasting in future. But sometimes, we see that fasting is harmful for the baby, not for herself. We see that in these cases, not only should compensate fasting in future, but also should pay the penalty, or kafara. We explained it before. Should pay the penalty or kafara. We say that religious atonement, because of every day of not being fasting. The kafara we explained before that about, something near a kilo of wheat or something like this. Any grains is enough. But ulama say that if fasting is harmful for herself, fasting is all harmful for herself, she has to compensate it in future, and also she has to pay kafara as we explained. Now, we see that another person for whom fasting is not necessary, as is not obligatory. For a woman who is breastfeeding. We explained before about the pregnant, woman, now about a woman who is breastfeeding. Also, somebody who is breastfeeding her own baby, she has to eat enough food, nutritious food, because it is necessary for her own baby. we see that if it is harmful for herself or for her own baby, okay, the same as the previous, issue that we explained, also fasting is not necessary and is not obligatory for her, and she has to compensate it and make it out in future. And the last person for whom we see that fasting is not obligatory is for a little girl who has become at the age of puberty, bulugh, and also fasting according to her own age is obligatory for her, but because she is weak, okay, and because of the weakness that she has, she cannot do fasting. Ulama says, Islam says, fasting is not obligatory for such a, girl. And some of the ulama say that whenever she, is able, she has to compensate it in future. Okay, that is enough, brothers and sisters. Thank you for being with us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.